Hello everyone, welcome back to What Time Is It? The #1 talk show where we share opinions about African culture, development, entertainment, and lifestyle. For those of you I haven't met yet, my name is Ntube Nane and I am your host. Today, I would like us to start by talking about 10 very important things that everyone should know about Africa. #1, Africa is a continent, not a country. Now, when I came to America, I noticed that a lot of people think Africa is a country, but Africa is a continent and not a country. Now, a continent means it consists of many different countries, which brings me to point #2 that you should know. Africa consists of 55 different countries, which are very diverse, with different cultures, speaking different languages. That said, let us move on to point #3. Africa, for purposes of similarities, could be grouped into 5 major categories, which is North Africa, South Africa, West Africa, East Africa, and Central Africa. Some of the countries that you would find in the northern part of Africa will be Chad, Morocco, Tunisia, and Algeria. When you move to Central Africa, that's where I am from, you have Cameroon, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Gabon. If you go over to West Africa, you're going to find countries like Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and Togo. You go down to the south of Africa, you're going to find countries like Angola, Malawi, South Africa. Yes, South Africa, it's a country found in the south of Africa. Zambia and Zimbabwe. Going over to East Africa, you're going to find countries like Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, and Rwanda. That's just to name a few of them. Now, if you go on Google or you read African history textbooks, you're going to know all of the 55 countries that make up the continent called Africa. So guys, please, if you were treating Africa as a country and not a continent, this is the video that should change that mindset. And this is the video that should help you do more research as to which African countries fall in which regions of the country. Point #4 that we all should know. Most African countries speak English or French or both. Cameroon, for instance, has English and French as its official languages, but these are not the only languages spoken in that country, because Cameroon has about 200 other languages which are native languages of the different tribes or the different people who live in Cameroon. Point #5 that we all should know about Africa as a continent is that Africa has over 3,000 tribes. That's different tribes, speaking over 2,000 different languages. This is excluding French and English, which are borrowed from the colonial masters or the former colonial masters. So that said, when you meet an African and you're wondering why is this person sounding different, you should know that it's because most likely they speak at least 3 languages. Point #6 that we all should know about is that during the colonial race, all but 2 African countries were colonized by either Britain, France, or Germany. And the 2 countries that were never colonized are Egypt and Liberia. Now, if you did not know this, voila, now you know. To point #7, different African countries eat different food. Hence, it doesn't make sense that you ask someone, what is your favorite African food? Rather, you'd want to find out what country they're from and what is the favorite food from that country. Now, the good news is most African countries have the same ingredients cooked in different ways, but there's some dishes primarily that a group of African countries eat, but you don't have one meal that runs throughout Africa as a meal. One of those examples is fufu. A lot of people think fufu just means a particular, fufu is the finished product of whatever you decide to make in that way. Hence, you can have corn fufu, you can have cassava fufu, you can have plantain fufu, you can have yam fufu, and what have you. Moving on to the next thing that we all need to know about Africa is that Africa is very rich in human and natural resources. Hence, the assumption that Africa is a very poor continent is very, very wrong. Yes, Africa is underdeveloped for reasons that we're going to talk about on an entirely different video, but Africa as a continent is not poor. If anything, Africa is one of the richest continents in the world with so many, very, very many different natural resources. Take, for instance, gold. Almost all of the gold that we find in some countries that I would choose to not mention came from Africa. And you have countries like France having the largest gold depot with no gold mines. That should be something that you should think about before thinking Africa is a poor continent. Point number 10. Africa is a developing continent with 55 developing countries. Therefore, no one lives on trees. I know, yeah, a lot of people think people live on trees and no one keeps lions as a pet. Thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. I hope the information that was shared on this video is helpful to you in knowing what the continent Africa is like. And for those of you who are planning to travel to any African country or multiple African countries, I hope this video helps you in narrowing down which regions or which countries in Africa you would like to visit. Thank you all for watching, and as always, do not forget to like, subscribe, and share. And as always, you've been watching What Time Is It? Thank you.